Hey YouTube, what's going on? Cheeseboy628 here, today giving you week 9 of NPL Season 7. This week we're facing Rob, and he is the coach of the Gotham City Golurks. So let's talk about this for a second. Before we get into the details of this team, let's explain where we're at. What's kind of funny is I didn't realize that until, these past 2 weeks, I am right in between some of the most formidable opponents of this conference, the Tampa Bay Frogadiers and Gotham City Golurks. So as you may know from last week, unfortunately the battle against Tampa Bay did not go nearly as well as I wanted. So what's crazy about the stats right now, unfortunately Riz is doing well. We don't like that around here. He's barely number 1. It's crazy. Like, battle for number 1 is super intense right now. Let's talk about what's going on. So, for some reason, it's just so significantly different among the conferences that we already have 2 people that are statistically impossible to be in the top 4, meaning that they get into bracket. However, it's still possible for everyone in this conference to make top 4. Like, granted, some have higher odds than others, but the point is that everyone is still able to, and these 2 are statistically unable. So let's talk about where we're at right now. We are second, barely. Before Gypsy's battle against Jolt, I was actually still number 1, barely. But yeah, right now Gypsy is clearly number 1. Granted, that's only by differential, meaning if one of us loses, then, that's the most significant difference, but we are all 6-2 in the top 3. So that's pretty crazy to think about. And Rob, who's the Gotham City Golurks, is not far behind. Jolt, the Toronto Star Raptors, and Bayern are also, they're in there. It's just going to be difficult. A lot harder for them. Granted, it's technically, I'm not even guaranteed in right now. I mean, that's why, these positions 5 and 6 are still able to get in there. It's still possible. Granted, Bayern would have to barely make 4th place, and that's a struggle. But so the reason this battle in particular is significant, once again, this is someone in my conference that I'm facing, and if I lose against Rob, he has a higher differential, which means he will be ahead of me. Granted, we don't know how Tampa Bay will do this week. We don't know how Gypsy will necessarily do this week, but judging by differential, if I lose, I will probably go to 4th place by the end of this week. So this battle is super significant in that way. It's about keeping myself not only in the top 4, but in a decent spot too, to, even potentially be number 1. I know Rob is pumped for this game, so I am going all out. Last time I was a little bit rusty for week 8. Made some risky plays for sure. I mean, I thought they made sense, but, it's all hindsight. So this week, I've just maybe a little bit safer, but I've just got to be aware, be in the zone. But yeah, this is week 9. That means there's 2 weeks left to determine this top 4 for bracket, and so it's everything counts, 100%. So I'm in it to win it. Let's talk about his team. So the main threats on Rob's team are Victini and Thundy. And basically, I'm just going through my team. I'm like, I need something to be able to handle those monsters. Like, they are so strong. I am very scared of them, and actually scared of Mega Sharpedo as well. Mega Sharpedo is pretty good against my team, to be honest. But in regards to handling Victini and Thundy, I do have Heatran. And thank you, Riz. So I'm just going to let Rob know that I will send him a battle request in a second. But I have AV Heatran. Now AV Heatran's important because I can take a V-Create, of course, from Victini. Also, if he's a Nasty Plot special variant of either Victini or Thundy, I mean, it doesn't matter how specially based they are. If they are specially based, I will have the bulk to be able to take some hits and retaliate. Granted, since I'm not Specs or something, I'm not going to be able to one-hit KO, but the point is I want to take some hits. That's my main worry with it. Donphan and T-Tar are a bit of a core this time. I always have to decide between whether Donphan's full utility or it's going to have some offensive capabilities. And this week it's going to go pretty much fully offensive. I give it 100 speed EVs because the idea is it's going to outspeed an uninvested Primarina. Primarina is a little bit scary against this team. It's not so much anymore. I used to have a blaring fairy weakness. I used to have a blaring fairy weakness, but as you can see, I kind of soak up fairy hits now with my edits. But yeah, so AV Heatran, we got Donphan, where it's, of course, he got spin, but it's got a lot of offensive capability too. Rob's team does not have a lot of blaring weaknesses. However, ground is not the greatest. He's not the biggest fan of ground type moves, so that's why it's nice to have Earthquake and to boost that with Soft Sand for the 1.2 times boost. I have Raikou here. It's a bit of an interesting choice. The reason I brought it in the first place was because I wanted to take something from Thundy. And the idea is it has enough speed to outspeed Thundy. And so it's also a bulky variant where it's just supposed to have lights. It has Light Clay, so then it gets up the screens, and then not so much Nestle to set up, but it is possible very much to set up with my Manaphy. It's the one mon that I have with the setup move. And yeah, otherwise the point is just to take overall hits, especially from Victini and Thundy being powerhouses. So that's really the point behind that. I have Toxic on it because if I can get Hippo withered, I'm in a good position. So I got Manaphy here with Tail Glow. This is just enough speed to outspeed a timid Roserade, max speed. So that way I get a Tail Glow up, I go for Ice Beam, and he goes down. That's the reasoning behind that. I have Wakanberry because a Bolt Strike or a Thunderbolt from either Victini or Thundy respectively will not OHKO me no matter what, and then I can retaliate with a Surf or an Ice Beam. Amoonguss is mixed defenses, but this is just enough defense to where after rocks I will live a Psychic Things from a Mega Sharpedo. So gotta keep in mind that's after rocks from full health, so from 88% I will live. It'll do 87% max if he's adamant max attack. So keep that in mind, and then I also have T-Tar, where this is enough offensive capability to outspeed a Jolly max speed Scizor. And so I can go for Fire Punch to take him out there. I have Stealth Rock on this. It's a pretty naturally bulky mon, so I can get up hazards pretty reliably. And then I got good coverage moves all around for his team. So that's what's really going on here. I'm scared of a lot of fighting moves, but you know, I have AV Heatran, I've got Amoonguss, and I've got Natural Bulk from Donphan. Even fast screens from Raikou, it's going to be nice. So anyway, I'm going to send him the challenge. After the guys supporting me here. But yeah, we're going to send him a challenge. Let's see here. Where is the stupid tier? Okay. It's just in the bottom left. It's so random. Yeah, I do have it as final because I did have a draft of this before. But yep, I'm going to send the challenge and we're going to get raring to go here. The only thing that I'm not a super huge fan of is I didn't really put specific EVs for Heatran. I just made it max attack, or max attack, max HP. Which, you know, it can be good, but I didn't do like specific calcs with it. I just wanted to hit hard. So we're just going to wait on his challenge. There's a lot of mons that he can end up bringing, to be honest. Like granted, like Thundy is one of those that like it seems like he's definitely going to bring. But the rest of them, honestly, it's kind of up in the air what he's going to bring. So overall, his team is definitely a lot bulkier and arguably stallier than your average team. But depending on what he brings, I mean, we'll see how he really plays it. But yeah, Victini and Thundy, I mean, they're usually just powerhouses. They're not really much of a stally kind of set. But here we go. He accepted. You too. I'm going to link this battle in our general coaches chat, and we are raring to go. So let's talk about what's going on here. He didn't bring Victini. I'm pretty grateful for that. Victini was a scary mon to this team. So here's the thing. Heatran is really nice against a lot of his team. See, he did end up bringing Primarina. I'm pretty sure he never brought Primarina into this battle. So whether for better or for worse, that's why he brought it. You know, it's a good thing I changed my team because otherwise I could have been in a bad position. Because I just had nothing to take Fairy before I made my edits. So let's talk about what's going on here. He's distracting me with my favorite cheese. Classic, but Those are both good cheeses, I gotta say. So Azelf is a pretty obvious lead. So is Hippowdon. If I start with Donphan, I get a free knockoff no matter what, you know, barring he does lead with like Roserade or, you know, something that isn't Azelf or Hippowdon. But it's definitely not bad for me otherwise. I have a good amount of speed on Donphan where I think it'll outspeed Scizor if it's max HP and not max speed. Because Primarina, I believe, is in the same speed tier. Maybe a little bit different. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. Yeah, it's 60, and I believe Scizor is 65, come to think of it. I actually do want to look that up. I want to look up if Scizor naturally outspeeds Donphan here. It does, so maybe I should have accounted for that. That was honestly maybe a rookie mistake on my part. Yeah, so Azelf doesn't get, like, superpower, or... Does it get Brick Break? I don't know, that's one thing I did not look up. I don't think. Because it doesn't get Focus Blast, or... Like, of course it gets HP Fighting, but that's different. Yeah, it doesn't get Brick Break, so... It doesn't get Focus Blast. So yeah, I mean, the most it could have is HP Fighting. But if he brings Hippowdon first, you know, I don't want to take an EQ for no reason. Cheese favorite cheeses himself, same. But yeah, I just want to take a hit automatically. Like, he has no reason, I don't think, to not start with. So I'm gonna lead Donphan, and he starts with Primarina. So this is interesting. I believe this thing gets Psychic. It's not a great matchup for me starting off. However, barring he has a fair amount of speed EVs, because he's 156, like, he'd have to put in a fair amount of investment to be speedy. Then, you know, maybe. He doesn't have that great of a defense stat, so let's go over this right now. So I did put it into my custom sets this time, so I should be fair to go this time, instead of, you know, worrying about my own sets. So OU choice specs. If that's the case, you know, Earthquake has a chance to kill. I mean, I'm not expecting that whatsoever. We don't know if he's bulky. We don't know right now. So the problem is, going into anything right now, I mean, it's not necessarily worth it. It's nice to have this priority against Thundy perhaps later, but, you know, that's not essential right now. It's not essential. So I think we should just press EQ, turn 1. So yeah, he goes for Psychic. He does outspeed me. And the amount he did there, Psychic does 60 to 71 if it's specs. If he's nothing, it should do 40 to 47. What about modest? 44 to 52. He did 56. Does that mean he's specs? He went for Psychic because, I mean, it makes sense that I would resist that dual stab, yeah. But he's got to be specs then, right? $66 to 78, and he did, what, 56? Sorry guys, I really need to think about this. This is important. Like I said, this is an important battle. I just don't know how else he could do that much damage. Unless he's some kind of specs. What's nice is if he is locked into that, that means I get a free switch to Heatran for sure. I just don't know how he could have done that much damage otherwise. 60 to 71. But if he's not specs, he wouldn't do that much. Like, there's just no way. Unless he has Psychic boosting? I feel like that's a little weird. I don't think that would be his stitch. So I'm going to go into Heatran. We'll see what he decides to do. He decides to go for Surf. Whoa. He has Torrent. I'm stupid. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks. Because chances are he... Shoot. I don't like this. You know, it's possible that I can outspeed. Oh, God bless. God bless. Oh my gosh, he actually went for it. Wow, that's interesting. So yeah, he was really trying to predict me all around, and thankfully I didn't utterly choke. Like, there are plenty of people who try to switch around so much. People who try to switch around so much and they end up, you know, losing half their team to the same Mon who keeps obliterating them. And it's like, no, dude. So I'll tell you, this does suck because, you know, one of Heatran's purposes is to, you know, handle Thundy, and that's no longer a thing that's going to be able to do. Which makes Thundy that much scarier to face right now. But yeah, he's going to go to Caesar. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know... Let's put a Moongus in here real quick. Custom set versus Caesar. If it is choice banded, Bullet Punch will not kill. Like, it has no chance of killing me, which is nice, which is nice. I mean, it's not super important to keep this thing, it's just nice to have it as a sack in the future. Also don't want to eat a U-turn right now, but there's no way. Like, this dude, there's no way this dude is bold enough to press U-turn. I just would not believe my eyes if that was the case. We'll see what he decides to do. He does decide to go for Bullet Punch. That is Life Orb. Okay. So what's interesting here is he has no reason not to press U-turn. That's for sure. And Roserade will, of course, eat that up. Does 135 versus 120 in damage. So if I press Sludge Bomb, I automatically, you know, get some damage off on something. Granted, if he just brings in Roserade, that's just a free switch to be like, well, I have no other means of really handling it right now, so that's that. And just be nice to get damage off on it. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. If I go for HP Fire, it's just safer all around, but would he really switch in something else? I'm going to press Sludge. Oh, he doesn't... I don't know if he just did that for the sake of... not... You know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Ooh, okay, so this is an opportunity for Tyranitar right now. Because basically what needs to happen here is if I go to Donphan, he probably has a good amount of Spatak investment to where Donphan is just not... It's just not going to work out for Donphan, whether he's going to explode or a Psychic's going to kill Donphan. And after Ice Shard, I don't think it'll kill without the poison increase, so it's just killing Donphan if I bring him in for no reason. So therefore, I'm going to bring in T-Tar, because it handles everything a Zelf could possibly want to go for, and chances are he's going to want to go for Rocks if he has it. So yeah, he does decide to go for it, and that's nice because that allows me to put Rocks up. Unless he taunts, in which case I'd be upset. Chances are he's going to do that, and then he'll get extra damage on me. So I don't want that to happen. Wow, he just goes into Hippo. Kind of surprised by that, to be honest. He has no reason not to press EQ. Let's do some... I'm surprised he didn't taunt. Does he not have it? So if we have our Tyranitar set, like we have a lot of investment. Let's keep that in mind. Custom set. Crunch does 25 to 30. if he's got a lot of defense investment, so maybe I got a high roll on that if that's the case. Facing my custom set Dawn fan. Earthquake has no chance in the world to kill me. Should do 28 to 33. Which is important because I want to be able to spin this stuff away. We'll see if he decides to make a double here. Hopefully not. He's probably thinking about it himself, come to think of it. But I mean, I have a couple mons I could go into, you know, like a Moongus would eat it up, Heatran would sack. But we'll see what he decides to do. Since I went first, chances are he decided, oh, duh. Oh, that kind of sucks. Good plan on his part. Shout out to the police. I mean, he's got to be able to kill, right? Skill and life orb because he def has it. Or bullet punch and U-turn. If he's max attack, I mean, that's got to kill, right? Bullet punch and U-turn. 38 to 45. Yeah. So I'm definitely in range at that point. And the only thing that I can safely spin on is Hippo. So keep that in mind. This kind of sucks. I'm not in a great position, to be honest. I can even see him SDing here. I don't know why he didn't U-turn last time. Does he not have it, is the question. He must have SD, BP, Superpower, and Knockoff, maybe? I don't know. But if he gets up an SD here, I am quite genuinely not in a good position. Let's assume he doesn't have a lot of bulk on him. Earthquake would do a lot of damage. Granted, if he doesn't have U-turn, then it might not even kill me. So basically, I mean, you know, theoretically, he could kill me this turn. But the point is then, am I willing to let him get a Swords Dance up? Or should I go for a spin to get hazards out of here? Because, I mean, Tyrannosaur is still quite useful. I don't think rocks are going to be overall too bad. So yeah, he has Bug Bite. Okay, okay. So here's the problem. Hippo can eat up my hits forever. And now that rocks are up permanently, that's not so great. He doesn't know my Raikou set. But I mean, Raikou isn't going to do super well right now. If I can get a Reflect off, I mean, I definitely can. It's just about, do I want to go to Manaphy to do some pressure? Or do I want to go to Tyranitar to do pressure? Because I can't go to Tyranitar right now because, I mean, he's got Hippo. I mean, he's still pressured to slack off right now, which honestly means that it's not a bad position. So I think if I press Fire Punch first and then I Stealth Rock on his later recovery, then that's fine. Because otherwise his Hippo is in a bad position. So let's do that. My other option was going to Raikou with going for Reflect, but I'm not going to do that right now. I don't know what he's gonna decide to do. This is enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Caesar. So he may just be tempted to press Superpower right now anyway. Who knows? Like, he could have a lot of speed investment and be like, oh, well, I'm tempted to attack right now. Again, I'll definitely live, no matter what. I don't know. Would be nice to get rocks up too, because that'll probably put Thundy in Ice Beam range after that. And with the Wakan Berry, that would be nice. Yeah, I mean, Manaphy is going to be super useful late game. I mean, it's useful against... takes a hit from Thundy. Retaliates against Roserade. I mean, Roserade has to be probably around half health for Ice Beam to even have a chance to kill, but then also does very well against Hippo. Good. Good, good, good. I'm so glad that happened. Alright, so let's think about this. EQ is beyond obvious. It's not really important for me to have honestly, we're in a really good position if I just sack Heatran and then go Manaphy. The problem is I'd really like to have rocks up. Raikou won't outspeed a max speed Azelf. The issue is if I stay in with T-Tar, I'm going to be taking some sucky amount of damage right now. Like physically defensive, Earthquake's gonna do 47 to 56. Like I'm gonna come back in at like around 30. Right? Let's say 50, so I'll be at 38 and then minus 12. I'll be at like 26. That might be able to live in a hit from his elf. Like just maybe. Also, if I just go Amoonguss now, I get to press Sludge Bomb as much as I want. But again, it's kind of my oyster right now to get up. The world is my oyster in regards to getting up rocks. This is the one thing I can reliably at this point get rocks up against. I don't really have a reason to sack Heatran yet. Like, if I'm in a pickle eventually, then you know what, okay. But now is not the time when I am in said pickle. You know, one of my biggest issues is going to be Roserade. I need to wither Roserade down. Don't know what kind of set it is yet. Amoonguss has a fair matchup against it. So I need to be careful about not losing it, or also getting a light screen up with Raikou. So, and then going like Tyranitar. But Hippo needs to go down for me to like reliably do that. So we're gonna go Amoonguss, see what he decides to do. He decides to go for EQ, great. Wonder if he has Z-move Thundy. So chances are he's going to go to Roserade here, and that's just, honestly, it's nice for me, because I want to be able to get damage on it. So let's do it. No real reason to Giga. I mean, Giga's going to do significantly less than what Roserade's going to offer. It sucks that hazards are permanently on the field now, but you know, as long as T-Tar's in good health and Roserade doesn't have Sleep Powder, I'm in a good position there too. So let's start doing some prep against this Roserade. See how important it's going to be to keep my Amoonguss around. Looks like he made a decision. Are you offensive? Sludge Bomb does a lot, but I'll definitely live. Okay, so he decides to go to his elf. Wonder what that means. He gets a free switch to Thundy. Here's what sucks. It would be nice to go Tran. And just sack it off. However, I know that's not always how the world works. In regards to like him nasty plotting. If I lose Amoonguss here, it's not the end of the world as long as I keep Manaphy around, but otherwise it pretty much is the end of the world. I don't want him to nasty plot here. Granted, a supersonic Sky Strike is just as sucky. He's in the hole right now, so me choking would suck. Honestly, it makes you wonder if my best play is to go to Raikou. I think that's my best play. If I go to Raikou, if he goes for Sky Strike, cool. If he goes for Nasty Plot, okay, I get my light screen up. Only thing, I really have to do this. Manaphy, like, I already put a custom set in here for this. What am I doing? Versus a Thundy. Oh, you nasty plot. At +4. So that's after Wakanberry, and then Reflect. Or if Light Screen is up. If Light Screen is up, it has a chance to kill after Rocks. That's really sucky. Granted, that's if he gets to +4, but we don't know what he's necessarily going to do yet. We're going to go Raikou. Raikou is our best play because it allows us to, you know, still do something and keep our sack intact if need be. Which I think it will be necessary because, let's see what he decides to do here. He decides to superpower. Okay. So he's physical, and that's good to know. Wow, if I stayed in, I would have been in a pretty good position. Wonder what he's gonna do here. Gonna be honest, it is not great for Raikou right now. What sucks about hazards is I can't just predict him all day because I will get punished essentially for doing that. I'm surprised he went for superpower, but it's not terrible. Again, we don't know what Roserade is yet. Problem is I have no reliable move to go for here because I can't even press like HP Ice, you know? It's like if I go for Toxic and he goes to Roserade, I lose that, and if I go for Volt Switch and he goes Hippo, then I lose that. It makes me kind of just want to get screens up all in all. Only issue is... I also just realized you didn't bring Mega Sharpedo. If I get Reflect and Light Screen up, that's cool. I think Reflect is more important overall. So yeah, he decides to go Hippo. He's probably going to be... So he doesn't have Sand up. Maybe in the case that I brought Stoutland to like predict him. I think that's possible. I'll tell you, I think we actually are in a position where we can win. Granted, if he whirlwinds at any point, then it is no longer an automatic win for me. Can this guy stop talking? So what can happen here is I can go to Heatran to sack it. I can then go to Manaphy, set up a Tail Glow. One thing I still haven't tested yet is if I'm +3, will an Ice Beam kill? And by kill, I'm referring to Roserade. Ice Beam will definitely kill if he's that. Now if he's Spadef, we're talking about a roll, because we don't have rocks up. Which is why it worries me, because I'm as tempted as I am to set up on this thing. I can't necessarily. At the same time, just pressing Ice Beam is not a bad move. But if I just go Amoonguss, that's not bad either. And I get to scout what he wants to do with Roserade or Thundy. Also, if I go T-Tar, I just get rocks up, and then Thundy is in an even worse position. But you know, it has to come in on an EQ, which is never fun. If I'm at neutral, facing a defensive Hippo, Ice Beam does 40 to 48, which is not that much. Surf does a fair amount though. And he could be a Scarf Roserade for all I know. We just don't know. Again though, I don't think it's necessary to sack Heatran yet. I don't think so. So I think all in all, may just be alright to go to Amoonguss. We'll see what he decides to do. He decides to go into Roserade. Interesting. It's a good thing I didn't directly go into Manaphy then. That's nice. I get a free Sludge Bomb off here. 100% free. He goes for a Sludge Bomb of his own, and that does a fair amount of damage, but clearly not enough to take me out. Does that tell me anything? Roserade. Sludge Bomb should do 26 to 30. I should take off light screen to make sure that doesn't make me choke later. Sludge Bomb does 43 to 51 if he is max Life Orb. He did 33. So, I mean, obviously he's not Life Orb. Hello? So he did 33 to 39. So, potentially, he got a low roll. Oh wait, no, he did 43. Wait a second. He did 43. Which means he's either modest. Which means he's either modest or he's Scarf. I need Manaphy to win. I mean, need is a bit of an excess word, but it might just be a condition to win. Again, I don't know if he has Sleep Powder. Honestly, if he has Sleep Powder, that's like the most annoying thing. It's nice to get this damage. After this, I'll be at like, let's see, 30 minus 12. So I'll be at plus 18 from here, which means I'll be at like 75. That's a lot of health. Or I could just, you know, recover a little bit more after getting even more damage on him, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, he decides to sludge once again. We get off a nice amount of damage. So what I'm thinking here is I sack Heatran. and then I go to Manaphy. I'm gonna make sure, because this is so important, that my set can guaranteed outspeed Roserade, barring it being Scarf. Why don't I use the custom sets? I already put them in. 308. .306. Only thing is, if he does get the Sludge Bomb on me, after all, then I'm down to around 50, which means Thundurus is now in the position. Wait, do I have Reflector Light's gonna reflect up? Wait, he's physical. Probably. Guess we can't say for certain. I just don't want to put Manaphy in a sucky position. Is that fair? Is that fair to say? I don't think Tyranitar has any other purpose but coming in right now. I'm saying this, hopefully it's not greedy for the sake of differential. Like, this is not me trying to be greedy here. I just think optimally this may be the best play. It'll give me a Spidef boost again. Sorry I'm taking so long, guys. It's just this battle is important. Roserade, again, it's offensive. Could be Scarf. Could be Scarf. But definitely not Light Orb. Leaf Storm does a lot to my custom set. If he does happen to go for it. Which means he would have to have it. In that case, a Moongus can come back in for free reeling and press Sludge. Let's do it. Okay. Okay. Definitely tempted to go for rocks here. How what? I have Reflecta. It's not like EQ's gonna do a million. I think it's best to go for rocks right now. And then sack, then go to Manaphy. And I can save this for the sake of sand or for the sake of differential. Again, I want to keep Manaphy at good health because I want to be able to take an electric type move if need be. You know, maybe that Thundy could be Scarf for crying out loud. We don't know. Don't know. If that's the case, gosh. You know, the problem with this game is there's so many opportunities. There's so many options. But yeah. I think the best play, I don't want Manaphy to take any damage. Granted, how much is a Hippo going to do to an Amoonguss? EQ does 27 to 32 with Reflect. It does, let's say it's going to do like 32% plus rocks plus sand after 2 turns. God, 23. So I should be fine if I do that. Still don't like it. Overall, it's not fun. It's not a fun situation. Let's keep Amoonguss at a decent run of health. Decides to go for EQ. I'm losing connection in my mouse. Manaphy. Custom versus Rosary. Surf does 22 to 26 if he is offensive. That means on 22 he could be at 37 and then he should die. That's what I'm trying to say. And then Manaphy behind a Reflect right now. Let's see what he decides to do. Decides to go for that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. Because after this turn, I'm gonna be at like... After this turn, I'm going to be at like 64. I did how much? I did 66, which is an average roll, which means Ice Beam should be able to kill here. Okay. See, I'm at 64. If I come in again, I will be at 52. If he brings in Thundy right now, I am 100% going for Ice Beam. Not doing any fancy switching out shenanigans or anything like that. If he goes Roserade, that's a different case, unfortunately. Does decide to go into it. He has to be Scarf. He has to be. He's got to go for Sludge right now. I really think he's going to go for Sludge Bomb. Either way, I can't stay in because if I want any chance to live Wakan, then I'm going to have to switch out. I cannot imagine him going for a grass move right now. 51 to 60, but we already know he has some kind of physical investment and he's not Life Orb. Yeah, so I should be able to live that. Which means T-Tar is the play. I'd say, because I don't want to Mungus die to Sludge and then Raikou would definitely die to Sludge. He's Scarf. So yeah, this is the play. We'll see what he decides to do. He goes for Giga. Genuinely surprised by that move. So all we have to do is press Sludge here. If he Scarf Thundy, that is next level craziness. Hopefully after Rocks, Sand, and Sludge, he won't be able to come in again in the case that he's Scarf. Okay. Giga did 8.8. Yeah, he was Scarf. Knew it. I guess we'll get the teeny bit of recovery we can. I'm an idiot. Oh, it does kill. Nice. Calculated. So he brings in Thunderous. See what he decides to do here. Because I don't know. He could have sub for all I know. Who really knows? It's kind of coming down to the wire, I'll say. You know, there's some moves that could have been overall more bold, but like, at the end of the day, win-loss is more important than differential. And you have to remember that. You know what's scary about the situation? Let's put in our custom set Raikou, which is meant to outspeed Thundy no matter what. It's 34 to 40. I should guaranteed win with that in mind. However, I don't win if he like... What I'm trying to say is like I guaranteed win with Raikou, you know, barring he's like agility. Or I go for my Wakan, and like if he crits me, I genuinely lose in that case. Because I genuinely lose because then Raikou can't get off 2 hits. So I have to do this. I mean, I don't have to, but again, I don't care about differential. I want to win. Wow, this battle has almost went for an hour. What a battle, though. I think this is it. I just... When a game is this important, and there have been a fair amount of important games, to be fair, but I need to have that win-loss ratio, which this would put me at 7-2, which is not bad. But boy, this definitely gave me a run for my money. 37. What does he go for? Goes for superpower. Cool. Superpower again. But please, thank the Lord. GG. Whew! Another great close battle. I feel like the last time I was this close was against Razor. But yeah, I had to ensure that because... Also, that superpower did 38. Does that mean anything? I mean, we know he's physical. He's jolly and, you know, superpower. Versus my Manaphy. Superpower does 13 to 15 if I have no investment, probably. Oh, also reflect. So yeah, that did a normal amount of damage. So Tenzarg is fully physical, but like, again, I could not make the risk where if he ended up critting me with Wild Charge or, you know, whatever he decided to have, I wasn't gonna have it. You know, it's like then I would have lost. I utterly would have lost there. If he went for agility, chances are, you know, like then he might have had a chance, but then my Wakan Berry should have came in handy then, probably. I guess we can check to make sure. But Wild Charge would have done 37 to 44. So yeah, there's no... Basically, to make it clear, the only reason I did that was in the sake of it. If a crit was to happen, I would have lost. Okay? And people have lost to last turn crits, and I just can't afford for that to happen. So, anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. That's huge for us because, I mean, that puts us now at 7-2, differential of 10. You know, again, it's not the highest differential in the world, and it is going to come down to Tampa Bay and myself for who may end up... you know, it's going to come down to the last couple of weeks because Tampa Bay actually still has to face Sydney, and that's a huge battle as well. But more to look forward to. But yeah, we have 1 week left. 1 week left versus the Bayern Munich, and looking forward to that. I hope you guys are too. Sorry for just, you know, slow paced, but I have to try my darndest, you know. But thank you all for watching. Like, comment, sub, and until later. Peace.